You are now tuned in to the Gifted Gab.
My shit never misplaced cause I'm always in my bag and you know where I'm at cause it's the Gifted Gab, so make sure you tap in. I'm out.
Absolutely. Let's talk about, the last time I seen you, I think it was a BLM march.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You know?
that was a very powerful moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was hella powerful.
For real. It was amazing to see the whole city come together like that. We had like around 20,000 people show up, to the legislation grounds and stuff.
That's, it's a powerful moment. You think like since then, and you gotta get closer to the mic, but do you think since then there's been progress made here in the city?
I definitely think so because a lot of awareness, like in the sense of race and like racism, there's a lot of progress there. Mm-hmm. But then we take two steps back when there's those rallies that just happened. I don't know if you saw the other day where there was like those like white supremacists gathering like in the north of Edmonton.
Yep, I seen that.
So I feel like when we see things like that, like it's almost like a discouraging thing, but when you realize it's like, oh, like maybe there was like 50 people there, but like in the grand scheme of things, like that is no longer tolerated because even Don Iverson, like our mayor, like spoke about it on his social media. He's like, yeah, that's not acceptable and stuff like that. So I feel like this BLM movement, it's a lifelong thing, It's been going on since before our time and it's going to go on after our time.
Absolutely. A lot of the things that we're trying to have implemented are not really for us. Mm-hmm. It's for, who comes after us.
Exactly.
I was looking at something interesting, that Alberta has the most hate crimes, like racially motivated hate crimes, out of all the provinces in Canada.
Really?
Yeah. And as numbers have dropped everywhere else, but Alberta's has risen.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a weird climate out here, man. It's
insane.
It's really weird. I think the city's done what they can and shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this, like you said, it's a lifelong movement.
It is, and that's a factor. Like, when you say like they've done enough, like I feel like like they're scraping the surface, because it's like there's so much within like the indigenous struggles that people don't even realize that is going on, or they're so accustomed to just labeling them as like certain slurs and stuff, and it's like when I moved here, because remember you had told me that you're from Ontario and stuff. And that's where I grew up as well. And I had never seen an indigenous person until I moved to Edmonton, Alberta, all these years later. And the slurs I would hear, I'm like why? You know what I mean? And I never really understood until, like, I grew and I matured and I researched and looked into it. These people have been stripped of so much, like genocide of their cultures. There's so many things like stacked up against them where
absolutely
like they don't have much going on, but like so when people call them these slurs, like they don't even realize that these people have gone through so much.
It's facts.
You know what I mean?
It's facts. It's
so that was one of the first things I noticed when I moved to Edmonton. It's like there's definitely a lot of discrimination going towards those individuals, and there's not as much reinforcements, resources going into those communities and uplifting them. You know what I mean?
It's tough, man. And coming from Ontario, we see, like, it's a more socialist atmosphere out there, right? When it comes to like the political climate and stuff like that, and like the conservative government here. That doorbell, man, damn. The conservative government here compared to, Ontario is completely different.
Absolutely,
it's really different. And same thing, I didn't see any indigenous people till I moved out here. So to really, and like another thing we were talking about is you don't really learn much about those struggles and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see the way it's carried in society.
It is
how it's represented. Another thing, right? But I don't know, man. It's up to us to kind of keep the conversation alive.
Exactly. And one thing I realized too, like becoming an activist, you know what I mean? I never really thought that was in the cards for me, right? And then I realized it's like, no, I have a voice, I have a platform, First thing people see when they see me is like, oh, that's a black man, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So I'm gonna face discrimination for as long as I live. That's like something I have to understand. But the thing that I do not want to ever experience is sitting down with my children and talking to them, saying how like, oh, because you look like this, because you're a black kid, people are not going to treat you the same. They're not going to respect you the same. You're not going to have as many opportunities. That's where it doesn't sit well with me, because it's like we come into this world and we accept it for what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But like growing up, I'm like, nah, like, yo, that's like, I don't know if we can swear on this, but like, yeah, that's man. Fucked up, Mikey. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we can't bring kids into this world and like break down that thing for them, because like then they won't strive to their fullest potentials, because they'll be like, okay, like my white classmates or whoever classmates are gonna excel more than them, simply due to the more resources they have. You know what I mean? And connections and stuff. I heard this thing. It's like, I heard it too growing up. They're like, you got to work twice as hard, you know?
Yeah, my mom used to tell me all the time.
For real. Yeah. And that shouldn't make sense. We should just work twice as hard to get twice as much, you know? Not twice as hard to get the same, because that doesn't sit well, because it's like, then we're admitting to ourselves that there's something wrong, you know what I mean? And we have to work twice as hard in order to fill that void, when there really isn't a void, you know? We're all human beings. We all come from Africa. That's where we derive from.
It's facts.
Right? Yeah. So we gotta educate ourselves on what's really important. And when those like discrepancies happen in like, say, income or opportunities, that's when we could use our platforms. That's when we be like, okay, no, that's not happening. Like, we have the credentials, we have everything we need, so let's get to business, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's so much to unpack. You know, it's a lot. I mean, if we could fix it with one sit down with every leader in the world, then it would have been done by now. But you know, systemic, the difference is one is exhibited by the people, and one is the actual system, where like nobody is at fault. The system is just, and that's what systemic racism is. For real. And you know, another thing is, you know, mentality falls into two. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit can happen to you or shit can happen for you. You know, and you know, if among you know, some of my peers, or you among some of your peers, if you're the one that's like, okay, I'm gonna take these opportunities that I can create and do something with them and pull the next guy up with me, then that's what needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? But if we sit here and you know, dwell on the shit that happens to us, then we just get caught in this vicious cycle. Yeah. Why me, right? Yeah, why me? Victim's mentality. Yeah, you can't have that, man. You can't. It's especially when kids are looking up to you, you know, when God gives you a responsibility, it is on you. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like, yo, God's gonna take you so far, but like you gotta put yourself through that door, you know? Absolutely. You gotta keep knocking. And one thing too that's very powerful is like, what's an example? So my dad, he growing up back home, his family they were living that farm life, and his dad was like, okay, like I think in grade 3 he was like, son, my grandpa was like, son, you have to quit school and just come join the farm. And my dad in grade 3, this is like, I'm talking like Rwanda, like Africa, this is like the 1960s, like, you know, like man was like, nah, I'm gonna be a doctor. 3rd grade, you know, like, man, like that's the type of genes I come from, you know what I mean, where he's like, yo, pops, like, nah, I'm gonna be a doctor. So he goes to school, like I think my grandpa had like up to like grade 10, grade 12, like a high school degree or high school like knowledge. Yeah, for real. So he never really graduated high school. So then my pops was like, no, I'm gonna teach myself. So he gets to university, becomes a doctor, and then has his own clinic, becomes a doctor for the people in the hotel that movie's based on. It's called Hotel Milkalin, like during the genocide and stuff. Yeah. So then after that, he has his own clinic, and then it just gets to a point where like, nah, we got to move to Canada, you know, as refugees, because it's getting a little dangerous and stuff. So when he moves here, you know, he has all these credentials under his name. You know, he started even like movements for survivors and stuff. But when he comes to Canada, they see his track record, and the best they can do is say, can you volunteer at the hospital? Isn't that crazy?
Right? So he's pushing wheelchairs for free, knowing damn well he could be assisting those like doctors in the field, right? So that's where I think that concept in my family came from. Like, you got to work twice as hard and stuff. But meanwhile, it's like that shouldn't be a thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you're just looking at credentials, you know, some of these doctors nowadays too, you know, like, I went to a walk-in clinic not too long ago, and this doctor, like, he was almost like talking out of his ass. You know what I mean? And I was just like, yo, like is the filter program not as solid as it used to be? You know what I mean? So they were saying things to my pops, was like, yo, your accent needs work, or, you know, like, he was killing it in like in the exams, because he had to redo exams and stuff. He was always getting like 90s and 100s and stuff. Like, he was a very intelligent person. And then it would just say like his accent or this barrier, this and that. So it was like the knowledge was there. They knew the knowledge was there from the jump, but they're always putting hurdles in his way, you know? And then he eventually became a doctor for WCB, like workers' compensation benefits and stuff. And it's just like seeing that as a child, you know, seeing those obstacles, but seeing like how you persevered, you know, raising children and stuff. That's where I get my like my drive from, and my mom as well too, because like same thing for her. She had to like come up, they had to do their thing, but that's where I get my resilience from, because it's like it's weird because it's like subconscious. We moved here like refugees, right? So government housing, and then pops got a gig, mom's got a gig, you know, like they're raising 5 children, next house, and then the next house, and then the next house, and then the next house. So it's like I just constantly seen it, like the evolution of my family, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, they got us here. Now it's up to me and my siblings to get us to the next level, and then, you know, keep that going, because we got to keep evolving, right?
You have to, man.
You
That's why, like, knowing where you come from is so powerful. You know, especially as a black man.
Absolutely.
And like, you know, that's the biggest thing, you know, when immigrants or refugees come to this country, the rhetoric around, you know, bigots and stuff like that is like, oh, these people are coming here and taking our jobs. Taking what job? This guy is university educated and is trying to be a doctor. He's not coming here to work at McDonald's like you. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah, it's like, so like a lot of the stuff that these people spew is it's ill-informed. It's ill-informed, and it's a product of fear mongering. You know, because most politicians,
they feed off
fear, right? If you know those guys, how did Trump get elected? He fed into the fears of the,
and that's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
That's dangerous, because that's how they tapped in with World War II, right? With the fear mongering of like the Jewish people. Oh, don't trust your Jewish neighbors. They're thieves. They're not trustworthy, et cetera, et cetera. Dehumanization.
Yeah.
You know, and like that happened in 2001 in America too, after the Twin Towers.
The Twin Towers, yeah.
Right. A lot of people I know that like have that Middle Eastern background, they said like they were prosecuted heavily, and like that's something people don't speak on, you know.
Hey man, the thing about the U.S. is time and time again, history has shown us how they've, you know, have had the capacity and actually exercised their evil powers across you know, the world, and it's mind-boggling to think that you don't think they're capable of doing that again now in 2020.
And they are. Yeah,
they always are. And it's like, you know,
the injustices you see with like the verdicts for the murder of Breonna Taylor, you know, where it's the drywall, the bullets in the drywall
get more justice. Than
right?
an individual.
Right? That's sleeping, right? And things like that. It's just like, yo, they actually work to park. They don't give a fuck about us, you know?
No,
like,
they don't.
They don't until you're valuable, you know?
And that's why, like, that's why this stuff, you know, when you're in the creative world and all this stuff, it's dangerous, because it brings the conversation, you know, are you a token or are you a trailblazer? Right? Because if you're a token, powerful. You know, if you're a token, then it's like Obama was a token. You know what I'm saying? We won't know if he was a trailblazer till, you know, decades from now. But as of right now, how it looks, Obama, Trump, looks like a token. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. If he was really a trailblazer, then it would be Obama. Then, you know, maybe another black president or a female president. You know what I'm saying?
Which they almost had too, actually.
Which is really close, but America is very, very behind.
And speaking of, I like that you said token or trailblazer, right? You look at people like radicals, like Word and Nipsey. You look at like people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nipsey. You see people that died for their cause. Even I would even put Tupac on there.
Tupac,
too.
yeah, oh yeah,
1,000%, because all of these like visionaries, they died for their message, right? And that's the thing you got to realize too. It's like when you have that message, when you have that platform, you're dangerous.
They're very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Huh.
And black on top of that, sprinkle some black on top of that. Fam, you're a terrorist.
You're a terrorist, yeah.
You're a terrorist.
And that's how it was. And Malcolm and Martin were, public enemy number one in the eyes of the FBI.
Absolutely.
They were wiretapped, they were surveilled, they were followed, they were all that shit. And they kept tabs on them because they seen these guys and seen the power that these guys held. And it's like, yo, these guys are dangerous. To them, these guys are dangerous.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
And then now it's like, oh, okay, now
they paint them as
heroes. Like, we knew they were heroes. You guys hated Martin and Malcolm.
And if you look at how Martin Luther King died, if you see like his death certificate, do you know how he died?
The bullet, wasn't it? No.
Oh man. So he was actually in the hospital, surviving that bullet, but he died from suffocation.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, for real. A lot of people don't.
That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, so he died in the hospital from suffocation, right? And people don't know that.
Wow. Well, I know that, like...
But that just goes to show.
That shows you,
Yeah, it goes to show, right? Like,
I know that for a fact.
They have to go in to finish the job.
They didn't get the job done. The sniper, right? He was like staying at a bar right across the hotel and shit. Yeah. He paid the owner of the building like the rent in advance and stuff. And if you're the FBI and a guy with a target on his back is coming to do a speech, don't you make these precautions? Don't you check, okay, who's here, who's there, who are the neighbors?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Even with Malcolm.
And JFK even,
Yeah, JFK too.
Yeah,
right?
for real.
We can get into the whole conspiracy thing. Malcolm
for
too.
Real.
It's like the FBI, the day he got shot, nobody was searched at the door.
Yeah.
Since when do you hear about like somebody speaking at an event and there's no security? You know what I'm saying? No police detail. The police that you were usually watching that place when that stuff was going on, they weren't there. They're out and about. Yeah. So like, we've seen that these governments were passively involved in these assassinations. Indirectly.
Definitely.
And it's like, you don't think America is capable of that evil shit when
they definitely are. They definitely are.
And J. Edgar Hoover is when people talk about the guy who started the FBI, Hoover.
Yeah.
He's one of the like dirtiest cops. Like when it comes to ethics and stuff like that, like he didn't do anything by the book.
Because JFK wanted to terminate the FBI actually, or not FBI. He wanted to terminate CIA and those intelligence agencies and stuff. Because he was saying like they could get a life on their own and they could become too powerful and stuff.
Which is what happened now.
Yeah, which is what happened now, right?
Right. And it's like, it's crazy to think about how, like,
It's funny, right? Like to think about even like Eric Snowden. Do you know about who that is?
No, who's that?
So he was working for like the intelligence agencies in America. I would say maybe like 2007, 2008. And then he was very intelligent and he took it and he's like, oh, they have surveillance on American citizens, like through webcams, through like their phones, they're tapping into everything. And then he exposed it.
That's crazy.
And he was labeled a national terrorist.
Just for exposing
the truth.
Wow.
Right? You feel? So he had to seek asylum in like I think it was Russia or something. Like he had to seek refuge, for literally being like, okay, hey, these so-called intelligence agencies, they're not using this equipment for good. They're spying on their friends. They're spying on their family members, their spouses, or whatever the case may be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Some powerful shit.
That's
right
some
there.
powerful shit. My nigga, we might, you know, yo, God
That's some
bless.
shit right there,
God bless
man.
every
Holy
viewer
smokes.
listening, for real.
I mean, like,
Mhm.
you know, and that's the thing. Like, governments are so corrupt. Like, you can never put any. I don't put anything past the government. I don't put anything past anybody that has
For
a
real.
position of power.
Exactly.
Has any kind of power, because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
if I have the power to, you know, save my own ass,
Mm-hmm.
who says I'm not going to?
Oh, 1,000%.
You know,
right?
and
1,000%.
people who are naive, they put their trust into these agencies and
Mm.
think that everything is ethical and that they do everything by the book. But it's like, yo, we're seeing right now with the Breonna Taylor case that nobody wants to take accountability for what happened.
Definitely.
Nobody wants to take accountability.
No one wants to, and they'd be the last to admit that these cops are in the wrong.
Yeah.
Be the last to admit it. You know,
and
they'd rather let America burn to the ground before they admit those cops are in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know, for killing a black woman.
Yeah. But if it was a black person that did that,
Yeah.
you know
A black cop?
A black cop?
Or if it was a white woman?
Or a white woman? Not even a white woman.
No, that died?
That died?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
Bro.
justice right away.
Yeah, you know?
You know what I'm saying? Speaking of black women being shot, there was a lot of buzz last week about, you know, the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. I know as a rapper you might be, I don't know what your take on that is. It is a very polarizing subject.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think really happened?
Personally, with Tory Lanez's silence this whole time, and like letting the music talk, that was a very artistic move. It was very bold. I wish he had at least taken the time to explain himself beforehand, but also time will tell. Time will tell, because like people in Meg Thee Stallion's camp are like, yo, she gets very aggressive when she's drunk, and that's obviously no excuse for if Tory shot her. But I'm even thinking like I don't know if he shot her. You know what I mean? Because like, yo, he would be behind bars, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Something.
You know, and you can't just put a whole album out talking about how you didn't shoot somebody if you didn't shoot somebody. You know what I mean?
It's facts.
You know?
It's facts.
And so some people are saying it's wrong that he dropped it like around the time Breonna's verdict came out.
Yeah.
There's so many things in the wrong that he did, but it's like if you look at the day he dropped it, that was the anniversary of his mom's passing or her birthday. I think one of those two. So it's very integral
Personal.
part. Yeah, a crucial moment for him. So it's like there's that. But I personally think like the outcome, like I can't say he did or he didn't. The truth will come out eventually. I'll say give it like 5-6 months, and then we'll see where they stand. You know, we'll see if she speaks on it. We'll see if they make amends. We'll see if it gets solved. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on social media right now, you see people. Here's the problem with social media is people love to jump to conclusions without facts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, there's one side of the story. We don't know the other side of the story. Yeah. The law hasn't gone. We don't know like how the law is going to get involved. We don't know anything. So for people to polarize the situation, you don't know what happened.
You don't know what happened.
So how can you? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
For sure.
But there's everyone's entitled to an opinion. There's a difference between an opinion and an informed opinion. If you know exactly what happened and then you say, you know, you guys want to cancel this guy, whatever it is, that makes sense. Cancel him. Yeah. But everybody's canceling him. You guys don't know what happened.
Exactly.
We only know one side of the story.
It's not clear. And it's not clear. It's really in the air, right?
They say there's 3 sides to a story. The one side, the other side, and the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've seen people just I can't do Twitter and social media too much because, you know, 5 minutes in I see the polarization on certain topics.
For sure.
And I'm like, you know,
have you seen that one documentary that just came out on Netflix?
Which one?
Like Our Social Dilemma.
Oh, I was watching it and I was like halfway through. I'm like, this is really heavy.
Heavy.
It's very heavy on me.
I couldn't finish it in one sitting.
I couldn't finish it. Yeah.
I was just like, nah, let me come back to it.
I couldn't finish it. It's
real.
a lot, man. It's a lot to, you know. I'm gonna eventually probably finish it, you know, sometime, but maybe this weekend or some shit. But
the reason why I brought it up is because the points they were bringing up in it, and it was like lies are more likely to spread on social media like 6 times more than the truth.
Oh yeah.
Right. So say if like something comes out like the narrative is most likely fake, you know, because if it's like 6 times more, because that gets more traction, that gets people like riled up,
yeah.
you know, like this crazy ass headline, you know, oh shit, people are like tweeting about it or whatever. But so that's why it's like it's also good to not speak on things, because it's like, yo, I'm taking all this information in, you know. We, like you said, it's a very quick, fast environment we live in. Everything at the click of a phone. You can message somebody in Africa and they'll get it right now, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very quick, it's very fast. But one thing people have to realize is like, well, all this information we gotta take in, we have to sit down with it, you know? I like how you said it was heavy information.
It was heavy.
Right?
It was a lot to process.
So that's why sometimes I can't even speak on certain things.
Yeah.
Like, I can't speak on like Trump because I'm like, yo, this guy's fucked, right? Personally. But like, it's like also let me like, I have never sat down and watched one of his speeches, you know? I only see those little clips people make. And like media has a nice way of
manipulating
and stuff. So I'm not saying like, yo, Trump is like an amazing person. I know he has bigotry in him and stuff like that. He didn't even like speak on what do you call it, white supremacists or stuff. He's like, what, the Proud Boys?
Yeah.
He's like, they're Proud Boys.
Yeah.
So things like that, you know.
Well,
So it's like I personally I don't view social media as like a good source for information.
no, it's not.
Even though it's done very positive things. There's a lot of negative too, and like it's the negatives starting to like outweigh
the positives.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know, when we talk about the internet, right? Nobody knew what what type of capabilities it had. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you look, there's been positives and negatives from it.
Yeah.
Social media is the same thing. You know, nobody knew what type of capabilities social media was gonna have.
Yeah.
But it's been positives and negatives from it. You know, and not just in terms of information, but I completely agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I've sat down and watched Donald Trump speak 2 times, and you know, outside of his bigotry, you know, he knows exactly what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing as a president, but we forget he comes from TV.
Yeah.
Right. He comes from television.
He knows how to rile up your emotions.
Yeah, he knows how to. He knows how to sell himself. He knows how to do all that shit.
Stay in the tabloids.
Yeah, he's always a headliner. You know, and you know, with that being said, you could say he's pretty smart in that sense. But yeah, he's a bigot. His ideologies are, you know, he can't even crooked. He can't condemn white supremacy because he's a white supremacist.
Did you ever see that documentary on I think it's something Park 5, Central Park 5?
Oh yeah.
This man was involved.
Yeah.
He was like he put like 80 grand aside for ads to get these kids murdered.
So he understands the game he's playing in.
For real.
He
it's
understands.
It's like, yo, the evidence is clearly off, you know? 5 white kids though. You feel?
Right.
You feel me? So it's like, I have 4 brothers, right? So like 5 black boys in one house. So when I saw this documentary, I felt very sympathetic to them, because it's like, yo, imagine if me and my 4 brothers were at Central Park that night. You know what I mean? God forbid, obviously, right? But you know, boom, right there.
Just like that.
So it's very scary. It's a very scary thing.
You never understand how, you know, how serious something is until it happens to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got stories for days about shit, you know, that can, you know, that would make people like, what? But yeah, Trump was involved.
But and those stories need to be said, fam.
They do. They
You know?
do. And, you know, that's why I'm doing this, you know, this type of shit, this type of platform.
Amazing.
And, you know, hopefully I can, you know, enter other art forms that allow me to tell more stories and stories outside of myself, other people's stories. That's the whole point of creating a voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's powerful.
It's that,
Very powerful.
you know, it's the same thing as music, right? It's just one way of storytelling. You know what I'm saying? Mine's is dialogue.
Yeah.
Yours is music, right? Other people do film.
Yeah, for real.
Other people do, you know, video stuff. Everything's different. Books, right? But yeah, but we don't know everything, and that's why social media is a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's a tool.
It's a very
we
good
have
tool,
to use it as a tool. If we, you know, some people are always like, social media is not that serious. No, it is that serious.
It's very serious.
There's people out here making money on social media. So right now we're in the middle of a shift.
Yeah.
Right.
Conscious awareness, I feel like.
Yeah, not just consciously, not just mentally, like economically.
Yeah.
Right? Like less and less jobs
Yeah.
are going down. More and more creators are coming up.
Yeah.
Nipsey said the shit would happen.
Yeah.
You know, that more and more creators would pop up.
On mailbox money.
Yeah. You know,
For real.
he called it. And this is it. It's happening right now as we see it.
For
You know what I'm
real.
saying? So if
it's our gold rush, right?
it's a gold rush, exactly. My
Mm-hmm.
pops always said there's like every 20, 30 years there's a gold rush
Mm.
in business or you know, economics. There's one gold rush and there's one chance for people to make a large amount of money in a short amount of time.
And even in Corona too, there was that period of time where everyone was at home, right? And people had the time to reflect, better themselves. And it's like if you didn't use that time wisely, yo, there's I don't think there's a chance, right?
Yeah, where else?
You feel?
I mean, we might go into another lockdown just now.
For sure.
You know?
But I'm saying, like, if you didn't use that time to better yourself, right? It's like, yo, when are you gonna use that time? Because it's like you literally had 2 months at home. Just look at yourself, you know? Like, okay, what do I need to work on? Right? Is it your health? Is it your diet? Did you hone in on your craft? Or did you just watch Netflix all day, you know?
Yeah, I did the Call of Duty for a bit, like 2 weeks, and then
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You know? The first 2 weeks, man didn't know what to do, right? You know, like, yo, is this all year? Man's like, you know, like got all the toiletry and everything, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but eventually, it's like, okay, you know, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And then execution. Yeah. Right. Are you executing or are you waiting for something to happen?
Like one thing I did that like really like helped me elevate my game as an artist was I wrote a verse a day.
Damn.
Yeah, for real. And I would say I did it for like about 40 days. And bro, whoa, the amount of growth I seen in just those days, right? And then I'm back in school now, so like I had to put that on the burner because I'm still working as well. So I had to put like the writing a verse a day back on the burner, but I did one last night. And it gave me this like feeling like, oh my goodness. It took me a little longer because like once I got in the rhythm of things, it's like, okay, bet, boom, 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 boom. But now that like I did it last night, it's like like a shark tastes the blood, you know. So I'm about to go off again, you know. I'm about to do another like 40-day run or whatever. But
it's that consist. It's like the momentum and it comes from the consistency.
Exactly.
You know, and when you have the momentum, you don't want to let it go.
Exactly.
Because when you stop, it's so hard to start again. And that's why, you know, a lot of people have a hard time starting stuff. Starting is the hardest part. Exactly. But once you get in that zone of like it's going,
ain't no way going back.
Exactly. And even if you stop, a lot of people like, I used to be like this too. I'd fall off the wagon. Yeah. And I'd dwell
on falling off.
Yeah. But the bounce back is what's important.
Exactly.
How do you bounce back? Okay. You fell off. It's cool. It happens. It happens all the time. Nobody's perfect. You can't keep the streak going forever.
That's bars.
But can you bounce back and get it back on? You know what I'm saying? Like I'll miss a day of a workout. Okay, cool. Am I the next day? Am I taking another day off, or am I bouncing back and getting back to it?
For real.
You know what I'm saying? I think we're very, very hard on ourselves.
Yeah. Very critical.
Very critical, which is good and bad.
Yeah.
Right. But it's tough because you know we live in this like, and I spoke about it on the Monday morning pod. We live in a microwave society. We want everything like this. We want everything like this.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Instant gratification, right?
You know, so I can't be mad when you know, girls want a big butt when their friend pops up on Instagram. All of a sudden, she has a big butt, but she might have bought it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just that's the reality of it. She might have paid for it. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
The image of like, you can have everything like that. Yeah. You pop up a pizza pocket in the microwave and it comes out. You know what I'm saying?
You got your lunch right there.
It doesn't it's hard to conceptualize. It doesn't really make sense.
For real.
Right?
And that's a scary thing, right? Because like how are you gonna have kids one day and be like, yo, like apparently there's this thing called like Snapchat dysmorphia.
Oh yeah, I heard so.
Yeah, and that's on our social dilemma. That was on that.
It's on there. Okay, I didn't get that far.
It was saying how like kids want to get plastic surgery so they look more like their faces when they have filters on. Bro, imagine, right? Yo, my kids are not gonna touch a phone until they're 16. You feel like
that's kind of crazy. Like
I swear,
our generation is different because we kind of seen
the evolution.
We saw the evolution. So one thing about the next generation is, one, they're gonna be very fucking resourceful. Yeah, they're gonna know how to do shit that we don't know how to do, obviously. But also, stuff like that. Snapchat dysmorphia. I don't know. That Snapchat dysmorphia might have been a thing way before that. Because when I went to Iran. Everywhere I'm going, I'm walking, I see that bandage nose. I see it left, right, and center. So it's like, I don't think they got Snapchat in Iran. That might have been a thing way before. Somebody got to correct me. That was 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. But
Snapchat's been around though. Yeah, I had it back in 2013.
no, I mean like they don't have Snapchat in Iran. Yeah, because they have like
I see.
the government has like a filter on shit. So like you can't really access certain shit, and it's
that's fair.
It's I don't know, man. I don't know, I'm not one to speak on it, but if that will make you feel better about yourself, then yeah. But I feel like it's a never ending.
It's never ending.
It's a rabbit hole. Like once you get one,
right?
you gotta get the other, and then you gotta get the other,
right. and like your phone is literally trained to keep you on there, right? Like when you get ads and stuff, it's almost like you think like they're listening to your conversations, right? Like I try to stay off YouTube now because it's like once I watch one video that I'm interested in, all my suggested is like, oh, I might as well. I might as well. Then next thing you know, it's like 2 hours have passed because like, you're just so focused on this information that's coming towards you, right? So it's very scary to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like all this stuff we have, you just gotta use it as tools, not get like. You're either a producer or consumer. Which one are you? If you're consuming, okay, what are you consuming for? If I'm an artist, okay, let me consume guys I want to imitate, guys I want to emulate, shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's usually like, for me personally, it's usually like interviews of artists and stuff, like talking about their upcoming and stuff. So say like I watch one on say old Ye, like 2002 Ye. There'll be like one on Jay-Z and Rockefeller, right? And then there'll be one on like Biggie and Puff, and then be one on Death Row and Pac, and then be one on Nipsey. It's just like, so I'm always like, that's what I'm saying. It's like a good rabbit hole, but like it's just time consuming.
It is very time consuming, And but that's another thing too. Like when we're on this journey, my brother actually taught me this. You can get better at shit without like tangibly getting better. Like maybe me writing rhymes is me like tangibly getting better at writing, but me listening to other rappers speak is also me getting better because I'm consuming consciously. Niggas I'm
like
trying to aspire to be like.
Soul,
exactly. Food for the soul, exactly. So it's like, you can go home and like shut your brain off and just do shit that's mindless, or you can actively consume shit. Like we don't give that shit enough credit. What are we consuming? Not just like food wise. Media wise, music wise. And now I'm at a point where I'm not listening to music if it's not really inspiring me to do anything.
That's
I keep going back to the same artists.
Me too, for real, right?
Some new shit will drop. I'm like, I'll listen to it for a couple of days, but then I'm going back to the same shit I was listening to before.
For real, I'm just the same way. Because it's like you hear when an artist comes across as genuine, you know when they're fronting. You know when Lil Tecca's rapping about guns he's never seen before, you know? But you also know when you hear J. Cole where he's coming from, He's down to earth. He's been like that, like 10 consecutive projects and like, from the jump, right? Same with Kendrick, right? Same with Nipsey. Like all of these artists, like what are the qualities that I want to like emulate, like I want to have within me. It's funny that you say that because there's this quote by what's his name? Oh man, he's a wizard. Like he's a genius. Warren Buffett.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a wizard, fam. But he was like, play a game with yourself. It's like 5 years down the road, like pick 3 to 5 people you want to be like in your chosen field. So for example, for me, I'll just throw out 5 names. So I want to be like Nipsey. I want to be like Pac. I want to be like Old Ye. Like I'm talking to 2008 graduation. That's where I'm at. And then I'll say Jay-Z and I'll say Nas. So what are the like things of these artists that I really like and things I don't like? And if you start at 5 years from now, you'll look and you'll see that you have all of these qualities within yourself if you actually apply it to yourself,
It comes down to application, man. And
I honestly did it. I would say like when I first heard that, I tried it, and now I'm starting to see those qualities within myself, And it's mind blowing to think about it because it's like you can actually attack it as like a game, like not like a childish game, but
it is a game.
It is a game.
It is a game.
It completely is 100%. A game, right? For real. So like it's just like, all right, level up, next level, next level. Me, one of my good friends, Sebastian, he goes by Sub Diddy. You should actually like check him out. He's like a visual artist in the city. He's like a painter as well. Every time I see him, he's like, all right, you level 8 rapper now. I get to level 10, you know? And it's like, you know, like, and it's like we're challenging each other. It's like, all right. Sometimes it's like, oh, you level down, you're level 7. But it's like, all right, you gotta keep putting in the work and stuff. So it's like having the right people in your corner, right? Like, your 5 good friends, you know?
That's all it is, yeah.
You're a product of your environment.
It's facts, man. It's
you
like,
know, stuff like that.
Who are you surrounding yourself with? And like, it is a game, man. It's really a game. Because it's like, okay, I'm right here. I'm at level 4 right now. I need to get to level 8. I need X amount of experience.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What do I got to do to get that experience? Do I got to read? Do I got to do more shit? Do I got to win here, lose here, do this, do this? Exactly. You got to just do shit.
Yeah.
And as you keep
That's the most important thing.
You just got to do shit. As you keep doing.
Can't be stagnant, right?
You can't be stagnant.
Or stay idle.
Nah, man. And it's like, okay, I'm diving in. Then eventually it's like, okay,
you look back and it's like, wow, I've accomplished so many things, you know? And that's one thing I like recently, like, I'm glad to say I've overcome that in the sense of like, I'm always like, okay, the next thing. But you step back and realize what you've accomplished, you know?
Yeah.
There's so many things I'm so thankful for, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's selling out shows, like, when I started out, you tell me I sell a show, I'd be like, yo, my G, you're on the crack pipe, you know? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't see it for myself at that time, you know? But when you put the work in, when you hustle, when you network and stuff, like, for example, yo, tell the people how we met, you know? Like,
yeah. Yo, you want to hear how I met this guy, bro? This is funny. I wanted to say that, man. First of all, if you're a Gifted Gab listener, you know how much me and Andre used to love Cactus Club. We were in Cactus Club one day. This dude comes up to me. He starts spitting. He just starts spitting over a Dead President's beat. And I look at Andre, I'm like, yo. First of all, who the fuck is this guy? And then second, I'm like, yo, this guy's dope. And he has some audacity to come up and just kind of just start, you know, say like, I can rap, boom, and just start spitting, you know? But that means you believe so much in your craft that you're willing to just go up to anyone and see. And from there on, I'm like, yo, this guy's got balls still to just come out and do that. But, you know, that's just crazy. You don't hear it. Like, when you hear about that shit, you hear about that shit like once in a while, you know what I'm saying? But for me, that shit's inspiring.
Definitely.
You know, that you had the confidence in yourself to say, yo, my shit is good. I want you to hear it.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? And you spit on the spot. It was a freestyle.
It was a freestyle, yeah. It was rapping about like what I was seeing at that time and place, yeah. For real.
Not too many niggas freestyle, man. Like,
for real.
That's a lost art, I feel like.
It definitely is. And that's why, like, I want to, like, hone that. But, like, so that's how I started rapping, actually. Like, I was at, like, a party, like, during high school and stuff. And, like, let me backtrack real quick. So I wasn't really good at sports, really. I was like about 5'5". I didn't hit my growth spurt till like after high school. So I wasn't a baller. I was playing my G, you know. I
can't relate, but
you feel, right? Yeah. So it's funny because I was like the name of my first mixtape, actually.
For real?
Yeah.
Late Bloomer.
And Late Bloomer 2's on the way.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
That's wavy, bro. That's wavy.
And Late Bloomer 2, I'm like blooming. Like under subtitle.
You're coming into your own. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming into your own.
So I wasn't really like playing sports or nothing, right? So I didn't really have like the confidence or like the outlet to push my energy towards. But I knew I wanted to do something, right? So one day I'm at this party, like I went to like predominantly white school at the time, you know, and then
as with most schools,
especially Edmonton, Alberta for sure. So they're like, oh man, you black, you can rap, you know. I laughed it off. I was like, yeah, sure. So I freestyled for them, and it was trash. Like they laughed, right? But I'm like, you know what? These are my peers. They're not my coaches. You know, they can't cut me from the team. They don't. You know, like they're my age. They don't know my skill level. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm a rap every day. That was 16. I rapped every day, every single day. When we'd have thumping sessions or whatever the case may be, I'd just be freestyling. And I'll never forget. A year later, like I'm 17, my friends were like, yo, why ain't you ain't rap today yet? And that's when I had the light bulb moment. I'm like, oh shit, y'all really like this? You know, like, cause and throughout that year, that process, like I learned to love the rap, the craft. And like at first I thought, okay, I'm about to drop a record, make a hit single, but like nah, it's bigger than that, you know. It's like almost like anything else. It's like a process, you know. It's like you start laying brick by brick, you know, and then eventually you get the Great Wall, you know. But it starts with one brick, right? So then that was the day I realized, like, okay, I'm gonna do this seriously. 17-year-old me at the time, you know? And then I just kept doing it every day, you know, refining my craft and stuff. And then now I'm at the point where it's like I'm helping other artists get their first gigs, you know, in the city at least, you know, getting featured in magazines, you know, speaking at that BLM thing. I wanted to be an artist to uplift people who didn't have the confidence like I felt, you know, or who didn't have an outlet or who didn't think they could chase their dreams, you know. But when you see me in a magazine or when you see me at a show or when you see me on stage in front of so many people, it's like, yo, I had the dream, I had the desire, and like you said, I had the balls to do it. But most importantly, I'm humbled by God, you know what I mean? Because it's like he gave me this vision. Because yo, I heard Ray Lewis once say, he's like, yo, when you have a vision, like that's God gave you that, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, people can't see it because it's not theirs, you know. And like that's one thing I had to really realize one day, you know. It's like people are not gonna have your vision.
Nobody's gonna have your vision,
right? So you can't like I used to spend so much energy trying to explain it to people. It's like, oh, one day I'm gonna. But it's like,
you can't.
Exactly.
You gotta show them.
And more, some of my like classmates now, they're like, "Oh my God, you're doing too many things." I'm like, "Yo, what you thought this was, fam?" Like, yeah, I've been had the vision, right? And like I'm humble too because it's like I know where I come from.
Yeah.
I love to share that story because it's like it grounds me. It's like, all right, you haven't even got to where you need to get to. Not yet, right? And for as long as I live, I'm gonna keep pushing the envelope. I'm gonna keep like inspiring people by being myself, you know, by showing them that you can actually chase your dreams. You just got to be willing and brave enough to do it.
Absolutely, you just have to do it, man.
Exactly.
We're doers over here at the Gifted Gab.
Hey, for real, for real. That's why I'm here right now. You feel me?
We're doers, man.
Yes,
we're doers.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Bro, I appreciate you for coming, man.
My guy.
Appreciate you.
Blessings.
Let us know where we can find you. Find your music.
For real. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, or any platform. On Ntwali, Ntwali. On Instagram, the.Ntwali, Ntwali. And for real, should I drop a freestyle for the people one time?
Shit, hit him. Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right. I'm going to rap about everything I see. So you already know how it go. Listen, I got a heart full of gold and a pure mind, one of a kind. What can I find throughout the room? I got glasses with the gold. Hold up, I never sell my soul, and that's where the Nipsey though. Cause I'm on a marathon. I'm always on the run, like Kobe when he playing Jordan. I'm taking notes. Got no time for these hoes. Gotta focus on my flows. Gotta go what next? Pulp Fiction. See the vision, full of ambition. That's why I gotta get paid in full. Work the rock. Nation, I hesitate because I had to take a breath anyway. No time because I'm on the Gifted Gab, and I hit him with the jab when it come with the hook. And this shook, they can't be like the crooks. And that's where to those that passed away. Prodigy, I know my family proud of me because I'm about to do this shit and fucks out of me because I believe I'm a representative of God's army. Audi.
That's what's up.
Hey,
Gifted Gab, baby. You heard
blessings.
it here first. Big shout out to my guy Ntwali. Just like that, we gone.